At this point in the show, the Carabao Cup's just a disco.
Yeah.
It's just a disco with a buffet. And there's someone's got a football bouncing around somewhere.
And there's a can of Carabao.
Who's won it this year?
Football
No one
square
knows.
now.
Yeah. Just Jules presenting it.
Oh, dear.
In the background.
Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the Football Ramble. My goodness, it's 2024. I'm Marcus Speller.
I'm Luke Moore.
I'm Jim Campbell.
And I'm Nishan Hunter Raja.
My goodness, we've made it. Another calendar year. Jim Campbell, you're buzzing.
Delighted.
Mm-hmm. What is...
They said we wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Give us an immediate fact about 2024, Jim.
It is the highest year ever recorded.
There you go.
Oi.
And we're here. We're here, baby.
We
And
made
so
it.
are you if you're listening to
Yeah.
this.
People get a little bit down in January, don't they? But we're the antidote to that.
Yes,
We're still here.
Pre-recorded, I imagine we all feel this buoyant on the
Pre-recorded, which
Yeah.
means some of the things in this pre-scripted intro are about to become
Yeah.
potentially problematic.
Indeed.
Let's see how we get on.
Yeah, no, it's the middle of July when we recorded. No, it's not really.
2021.
It's not really, everybody. Of course, we're back tomorrow with your regular ramble, if you're wondering what the hell this is all about, looking back on the weekend's football. But today, we wanted to do something a little bit different. We're writing our own list of New Year's resolutions for football. So in 2024, what do we want football to do differently? It could be a rule change. It could be a different tournament or league format. It could be, I don't know, maybe banning sort of somebody like Joey Barton or Piers Morgan from X. Nothing's off the table here. And I'm no doubt Elon Musk would agree. We've each got our own suggestions, and we've sifted through the hundreds we got from you all, which we do genuinely really appreciate. So thank you very much. So, Jim, get us underway, old boy, with your resolution for football.
So I would instigate a change to the game, and it might be the biggest change to it in the history of it, I would say. I would like to experiment with getting rid of the offside rule altogether.
Oh, man.
Now,
Right.
that might sound revolutionary and too much and crazy, but you know who else agrees with me? Marco van Basten.
He brought it in 2021. He said he wanted to do it. He said he thinks it's a good idea. He used, I think, hockey, didn't he, as an example of
did.
how it could work, and he wants to give it a bash.
Can you say he brought it in?
He brought. Sorry, let me rephrase that. He brought the idea to our attention.
Realise he was
Yeah,
that
2-8
powerful.
No.
2-8 table. Yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently
you've
Marco
wasted.
van Basten's the president of football, everybody.
He's a
It's like
very
you wasted a lot of
persuasive
chances
man.
in your career not knowing that.
Yeah, I did, yeah. Damn it all.
But hockey did exactly this. Hockey had an offside rule, got rid of it altogether.
Hmm.
And the concern, obviously, is that everyone will just stand on the goal line and can the ball away, I think, isn't it? That's been the sort of the worry when everyone's brought up this idea before. In hockey, apparently that hasn't happened. Tactics have adapted. It's made the game a lot more free-flowing. And that's what we want, right? We want, is there anything more annoying than a goal that's disallowed because of a really marginal offside, particularly when it's a player who's miles away from the actual action? It just feels like the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
So
almost.
a lot of people have talked about, particularly since the implementation of VAR, the idea of changing the offside rule, adapting it to make it not so nitpicky, not so narrow, to deliver what the kind of spirit of the offside rule, which was reduced, I think it was brought in the early 70s, what it should be about. And yet you're going, no, the whole thing needs to go out with the bathwater.
Because I think...
But do you genuinely believe this?
I'd
You'd like to see what
I
happens?
would like to see what happens.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree with you. I'd like to see what happens. I don't think. I think, in the same way, I'd like to see what happens if I, threw an egg off a skyscraper. I'm not going to do it because it'd be madness.
But you're not going to see the result of that. So I think that's actually a silly
Unless you run down
comparison.
really fast.
Well, I will see the result of it because it'll be filmed, and presumably you won't be at all these football matches where it's happening. It'll be.
You make a fair point.
Thank you.
But I obviously there is every chance that this would be a bad thing and would be ruinous, and the game would be rubbish. And even if it was given time to adapt to the idea, it wouldn't work out. But I genuinely, legitimately think there is a good chance it would actually improve.
But how are you
the game.
implementing it then?
Carabao?
Yeah,
You're
nice.
everyone's going to get on the Carabao. They're going to be
Everyone-
full of beans.
They are.
And it won't matter
And it's
because
going to be absolutely chaotic.
So you want to trial it in some kind of different competition?
Trial it in a competition that actually matters, Or actually, maybe it should be something like the Confederations Cup or something like that, where it is a
Yeah.
where it is a
That
it
is
is
the
a
absolute dumping ground, isn't it? For all this
Indeed.
Yeah.
stuff?
If the FIFA
Indeed.
Club World Cup,
right.
if they said that, we are more for what you doing, lads, what you doing, but there's going to be no offside, you'd be like, all right.
No, the
okay.
good news is for you players, there's less stoppages.
Yeah.
So you can be running more.
you need a decent sample
Yeah.
size, and you need as close to sort of competitive football as you can get in a game.
Yeah, no,
where
I agree with that. I
experimentation will be
agree with
allowed.
So in the League Cup it goes.
So when I say the early 70s, the offside rule, what I of course mean is that it used to be that the player that now it's beyond the last player. It used to be beyond 2 players, didn't it? They changed it in quite a seismic way then to make the game.
Flow more.
Yeah, and it's hard to
No, you have
argue
to have
that,
2 defenders. You have to have 2 opposition defenders.
but it used to be more, is what I mean.
3.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, sorry, 2 outfield, normally outfield players, because the goalkeeper, is
Yes.
But the point is that all I'm trying to say is just that obviously I don't remember what football was like before 1972, but it seems like this is now part of the furniture the way the current law is. If you were to remove it, it would entirely change the nature of both defending and attacking playing the game. You'd have to say that is the biggest rule change since the back pass rule, I would say.
Yeah, the back pass rule, made sense. I think a lot of people liked it. Yeah, okay. So I mean, I like this, Jim. I like it. Go and make it happen.
Vish, what do you think?
The technology point that you brought up is interesting because one of the things that happened in cricket with the advent of
Here he goes.
Yeah, always to my career.
with the advent of technology is you
boring.
got into a situation where the old rules that were written before the technology was brought in were then were basically up for scrutiny in a very different way.
So what did Ian Botham
And
do?
so the
You don't want to know.
so with I suppose with the offside thing, what you're going to get there is you are going to lose those a shoulder or a toe in front of in front of a defender being ruled out. But you kind of got to change you obviously we know tactically you're going to change it. The thing I'm really fascinated by is get it pushed through, have it become the norm, and then see how positionally how people change.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be set apart a bit more. Because at the moment it does feel a bit homogenous beyond 1 or 2 people rather than positions. If you think of the dearth of 30 goal a year strikers got to do a bit more. Gabriel Jesus comes and gets the ball off the keeper now.
Yeah.
As Arsenal's forward, and so I think it'd be really interesting to see how that changes, and also body composition wise.
Definitely. It would be absolute chaos at first.
Yeah.
No one would really know what they were doing.
And you've got to look into the idea that really teams now look to make the pitch big when they've got the good teams. When they've got the ball, they look to make the pitch big. When they haven't got the ball, they look to make the pitch small. Part of the reason they look to make the pitch small is to narrow it because obviously the players can't go in certain areas of the pitch because of their back line. So the whole of, it would be interesting to see how someone like Guardiola reacts to it because the whole of tactics would also change. This is a big, big statement, Jim. This is a big start.
I feel Jim's just a mouthpiece for Arsene Wenger these days.
Is Wenger said he wants a bit of that as well?
Oh, he loves all that, doesn't he? Of course he does.
He loves
That's
all that,
massively,
doesn't
yeah.
Yeah, he does all that.
The old,
I don't
the old
think you can
alchemist.
just say he loves a bit of that and prescribe anything.
Okay, I'll help.
stuffy
I'll help
things.
out.
Please.
When you had that summit with Arsene Wenger in that hotel in Johannesburg in
Yeah.
2010, was this discussed?
The only thing he said was yes after I asked him if he was enjoying the World
No,
Cup.
when you asked him if he could remove the offside rule, he said yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Wenger, Arsene Wenger wants to revolutionise the offside law. There was something about that.
Yeah, he wants the
recently.
daylight rule, doesn't he? But I think
I want that as well.
Well, that gives that in itself would change the game a lot, and I think
Particularly night games.
the worry, absolutely, the worry is that teams would sit deeper, right? So that's I
Fish,
think
you've got to
possibly
laugh
why that's
audibly. You
been-
can't just laugh quietly. No
Yeah.
one knows that's a great joke.
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt Jim.
That's fine. I'll always do it.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, we've heard Jim's one. Luke, let's have something from yourself.
so-
What's your football New Year's resolution?
So mine's slightly more earnest.
Oh, good.
Benefit of going
Yeah.
second.
Yeah. Well, listen, if we're going to throw that around, Vish, the benefit of realising before we started recording that you completely misunderstood the question and that's a hurriedly go laugh.
Don't start. They're having a go at him for not laughing. They having don't.
Vish was like, we were like, which one have you got,
You
Vish?
don't have to do this.
I've got something about cricket. No.
I didn't say cricket.
Fish. Don't worry. I'm sure the listeners will judge you on your resolution, and Luke and see whose is the best.
Yeah.
We'll have an online poll, maybe.
I certainly feel judged.
Yeah. Right. Come on, then. Let's get you out of the way.
No, mine is a bit more earnest, and I'd like you to engage with it.
Yeah.
I think football has got a big issue with timing, and it's an issue that hasn't really been solved. I think, and I'll come on to explain exactly what I mean in a second, but I think they've authorities have kind of fiddled around the margins with it and tried to do a little bit of a fig leaf here and a bit of lip service there. But ultimately, I think everyone understands that in the modern game, the ball isn't in play enough. I think teams and players have too much power to slow games down, to grind things out. I understand that there's an element of you're a small team playing a big team in a cup game. That's maybe to your advantage, and that's a good thing in certain isolated situations. But generally, people want to watch football being played. I think that kind of idea that the players and the teams have too much power to do that, alongside all these VAR protocols, now means the game is way too stop-start. I mean, it can take... I think I highlighted this maybe at 1 or 2 international tournaments ago, where I said, look, it can take minutes, actual minutes, for one attacking free kick to be taken. The referee sprays the spray, he sets the wall up, the players organise what they're doing, the goalkeeper wants to do something. I remember timing a free kick in the World Cup, I think it was a couple of tournaments ago, where it took like 2.5 minutes to take a free kick about 5 yards outside the area.
Build the anticipation.
It does build an anticipation to an extent. Normally that free kick then goes into the wall, doesn't it? And everyone goes, what are we all doing here? My point is just that you can mention the VAR protocols, you can mention the time wasting, the obvious things. I think there's a element that football isn't in control of how long the ball's in play, and I think it should be. Football's beauty is in its flow, right? It's what separates it from a cricket or an NFL even. Other big sports are separated out because they're not as free-flowing as football. And we need a way, I think, to stop teams getting an advantage from slowing the game down. I would potentially look to do something like, if VAR is going to stay and they're going to do it in the way they're currently doing it, even under UEFA, I would possibly stop the clock for it, knowing that you're not going to get an advantage from it. Because if the VAR thing is, what seems odd to me is that if a team is 2-1 up and there's 10 minutes left, there's a VAR thing, and the VAR takes 6 or 7 minutes. That unquestionably, through no control of any player or team, benefits the team that's 2-1 up, because they're not going to add that exact amount at the end. They try to, but they can't. And so I think you maybe stop the clock when there's an injury as well. Maybe you start to make moves towards that thing. I think the only thing you can't do is really stop the clock totally, because then you're not going to be able to have a 90-minute game. And I think 90 minutes as a game thing is too culturally attached to the sport for you to change that. That feels too much. But I basically think, in summary, something needs to be done.
If you stop the clock, though, a lot more football will be played.
Yeah, and then we have kind of an extension of the problem we have now, which is players getting injuries and stuff, and squads being thinner because of the accumulation of those injuries. So,
but what I'm talking about is that if you are someone who goes down, I mean, the players always do this. You go down for a couple of minutes towards the end of a game because your team's winning. If you know you're not going to get an advantage from that, are you still going to do it?
Yeah, well, I
Maybe.
think we could maybe learn a little something from basketball here.
Go on.
The shot clock.
Mm-hmm.
But apply that when you get a free kick to be taken.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got 30 seconds or a minute to take it.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
yeah.
That's a good idea. I didn't think
That
of.
would build anticipation.
It would.
Because we don't want to get rid of anticipation.
No.
Yeah.
Do we want that?
I bet to America.
Yeah.
I talked about...
We could have our own equivalent. It would be a trombone or something.
Gary Neville.
Well, maybe. Yeah, someone actually mentioned that a bit later.
Oh, nice. Little spoiler.
Yeah.
Unintentional spoiler.
Yeah.
When you mentioned basketball there, Marcus, just allow me on this. I also mentioned the idea of a backcourt rule, where once you go over the halfway line, you can't go back again. What do you make of that?
Terrible idea.
Why?
Because if you remember in the Brentford Villa game where the Villa player nearly scored an own goal and Mimi Martinez
it's brilliant.
at the start, we wouldn't have loads of those moments.
Also, that would favour big teams as well, because you'd end up going on a break and you'd be like, fuck, okay, everyone has to rush into that half to...
That'd be fucking brilliant, though, wouldn't it?
I'm all for it now. You put it like that.
Hang on.
No, it'd favour bigger teams.
All right, no, here's a better one.
Carabao the cunt.
There you go.
Jim mentioned a bad thing, the offside rule. You didn't say a fucking damn thing.
He did. He got involved. He started talking about cricket. Okay, here's my new rule: is that every player from the team, apart from the goalkeeper, has to always be in one half or another.
Benny Hill. And you played the Benny Hill music. No, but Jim and Vish, on this timing thing, is it something that... Because I guess I have to admit, the reason I brought this to the table is because ultimately it just personally annoys me that you have to wait for ages for things to happen in a game like football, which I don't feel like it ever used to be that.
You should never go and watch baseball live, by the way.
I have been to see baseball live, but it's a different mindset.
Yeah, but you know the stoppages are built into the game.
You know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this? Do you think I'm exaggerating how big a problem it is, or do you think that it's something that should be looked at?
No, I agree with you. I think it's something that should be looked at. I think I like the stop clock, and I appreciate, as you articulated, that you need to differentiate what you stop the clock for. But yeah, no, I just I mean, I think you're spot on, to be honest. I don't really see
you
a
got an
problem with
agreement there,
Sweet.
Jim?
Well, a strange advantage it may have is that if free kicks have to be taken faster, players don't start to cool down in terms of their muscles. So you might
Exactly,
actually see fewer injuries
I
if
think
this were to happen. This has been a problem with these long VAR
Yeah.
checks, isn't it?
It's a one size fits all.
I do like the stop.
I think
clock
it'll
idea.
solve
Luke
football.
Moore is doing a good service to people yet again.
That's what I
everybody.
live for.
It's masked in a disservice,
Yeah,
but
as ever.
underneath that mask is a great
It's like
service.
me. You scratch beneath the surface of basically a cunt,
Yeah.
and you get someone who's not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, he's the ultimate. He's all right once you get to know him.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Gentlemen, I'd like to bring in some of our listeners' suggestions for New Year's resolutions. And we've been talking about time wasting and so on. But of course, VAR's been under the spotlight more than ever this season. We can agree. Several high-profile mistakes, of course. Long checks potentially leading to more of those hamstring injuries. Vish has raised that many, many times. He's terribly concerned. Well, what about this? We had exactly this suggestion last year, but it came up prominently again, including from Kitchener Geordie, who said VAR checks get a maximum of 60 seconds to check. If it isn't conclusive beyond that, then it isn't a clear and obvious error.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I disagree with it.
Yeah,
Why?
I do too.
Because some of them, look at the one at Newcastle against Arsenal. There was 3 checks in one.
The point is getting the decisions right.
Yeah, but then you
Well,
get
sometimes
180
it takes a
seconds,
while.
60 and 60 and 60.
So you have to say, oh, by the way, this is going on a bit longer because it's more than one check.
Yeah, I think so. If it's 3 checks and it's 3 60-second slots.
So you've got 60 seconds to declare the 3 checks.
Well, I think look, we can nitpick all you like. You know, this is lovely banter.
Yeah.
But the issue is that what Kitchener Geordie and some of our other listeners are saying,
Yeah.
I think, is absolutely valid, which is that if it's taken you a long time to work something out, it by definition can't be clear or obvious. So maybe that's not the exact solution, but the principle I think is fair.
No, but I sometimes if a player has, say, stuck their hand out to commit a handball offence, did it touch their hand? Well, it might not be clear and obvious that it did. The referee thinks it did or didn't. Right, well, let's have a look on it. Oh, yeah, it just flicks the end of his hand. That's a penalty. That may take a little while to determine because of camera angles and slowing the cameras down and all. So all this idea of, oh, well, it can all be wrapped up in 60 seconds. Yes, I get the feel of that. I actually prefer this from Rich. Gary Neville goalgasm for the entire duration of any VAR check.
Everyone's just like,
7 seconds!
get it out of the way.
Yeah,
Stop it.
I feel that the anticipation does need to build a little bit with VAR checks, but that was when we used to have like 1 or 2 a game. Now it's like...
Well, it was a novelty.
Yeah, it was
as
like
well.
7 or 8 a half. It's
I mean,
like,
I hear that Gary Neville goalgasm in my sleep. I don't think we should wish that on the entire nation.
yeah.
I would like
And what
to-
state do you wake up, Jim?
No, it varies.
Right,
but-
okay.
How about this? Every single Howard Webb apology can be no longer than 60 seconds.
I like the 60-second limit as a way that the referee needs to run over to the screen in a certain time
Yeah.
as well.
Other the screen just goes blank.
Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe they have to wrap the apology, do a proper performance. You know how players do like an initiation thing where you got to
Yeah.
sing a song or do something.
They'd soon sort it out,
They
wouldn't
have
they,
to do
Jim?
something like that.
The
they would
people who've been
soon-
on the end of a bad one, they'd be really happy with that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
They would.
no way in patronising or piss taking that.
Hello, Gary, me again.
There are certain Arsenal fans who would explode
Yeah.
after that Newcastle thing.
What about this from S. Hamilton? Every time a manager makes a comment about VAR being shit after making a previous comment backing it, looking at Mikel there, then if they do that, they receive, as S. Hamilton's put it, a red arse from the officials who were
So
officiating.
spanking?
Presumably.
Let's assume it's a typo, but let's run with what he said. I think he means a paddle in there, doesn't
A
it? I
paddle.
think
What
so.
he means that red arsing is in, when people line up against a wall and then you kick the ball at them
Yeah.
Yeah.
while they're bent over. That's what he means.
So
yeah.
some kind of corporal punishment solution. Presumably he's a Newcastle fan, is he?
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Christ.
But a little bit more spanking in football.
Yeah, I think. Listen, can you ever have too? Can you ever have too much of that?
Well, it depends if you can sit down after.
There's
or
not that many. There's not that much spanking in football at the moment, as far as I know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, speaking of spanking, I think we go all the way back to Vish and say, Vish, what's your New Year's resolution for football?
My New Year's resolution for football is that all teams should be forced to play a number 10.
Love that.
It's the most fun position. They're the most creative players. A lot of the solutions we've talked about around this
Mhm.
table already have been about, flow of the game, making it more fun, essentially, which is what it is. They're the players who do that.
Tell you what, Fulham are well
How
equipped.
do you
Yeah.
enforce it if someone's not playing the role?
We
What
kick them out of the
happens?
league. We kick kick them out
Sorry,
of the league.
In game.
In game, yeah.
You've done
You
this.
fail once, you're out.
No,
Can't just give them the shirt. You've got to play the part as
You've
well.
got to draw markings on the pitch of where they should be operating.
Yeah.
Proper old-fashioned, never leaves that circle.
And there's a big scoreboard up on the side of the stadium, which how many tricks they've done.
Yes.
If they don't do 3 per game, it
That's
doesn't
right.
count.
Yeah,
Love it.
Yeah,
Absolutely love that.
and yeah, if they run too much,
Yes.
then they get.
Oh, their stats are scrutinised.
Yes.
in
Hang
that-
on.
in that
His shirt's tucked in. No,
Yeah.
get it out.
Yeah.
I also think it would be a great separator.
Those aren't long socks, are they?
That'd be a great separator because you'd have certain managers, like Neil Warnock will be out of a job forever, but Roy Hodgson wouldn't because he loves to play a creative player.
Does
So
yeah.
it could separate the managers out as well.
But also, I actually wouldn't want managers like Warnock kicked out of the game. Not for that anyway. But because I would like to see people's different takes on a number 10.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
there will be scrutiny.
Because Allardyce, it would be,
Well, I mean, he had lots of creative players, lots of really exciting flair
what's
players.
his name? He used to be Andy Carroll's keeper.
Kevin Nolan.
Yeah,
Nolan.
it would be like he would deploy
Handler.
a player like that.
But Big
Yeah.
Sam did have JJ Okocha.
Yeah.
And Djorkaeff.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I know. I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Nakata.
Exactly. I think I'm so glad you brought that to the table. This is earnest nonsense.
Yeah.
I want to see what Sean Dyche think. Like you give them like a period where they can work it out. I want to see what Sean Dyche thinks a number 10 is.
I mean, I can tell you because it's basically Abdullah Decore,
Right? Yeah, I suppose.
who's weighing in with loads of goals
Yeah.
and
Chicken burger and 3 wings.
yeah.
We're going to talk about fighting the growing inequality in the Premier League. This from Vermilion Dynamite.
Good name.
At the halfway point of the season, teams in the bottom half of the league get to take one player from the reverse team in the top half to try and improve their fortunes. So 20th takes a player from the team who's first, 19th gets a player from second, etc., etc.
I mean, the great thing about
A
that
little bit of US sports again here.
is that if you're 11th, you just get a player for the team who's 10th.
That's
It's
right.
like, you might as well not bother.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's, say, Brentford and Chelsea.
Sheffield United are getting Erling Haaland, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Fulham are basically, I suppose they could get Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
I suppose.
You would.
At the time of recording this is, of course.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm looking at Manchester United at the time of recording.
We don't have to say time recording. Just
No, we
the
are
spirit of
because
it.
yeah. But at the time of recording, Manchester United would be picking a player from Forest. I don't know that Forest would want any of our players, but I'd be quite keen on Gibbs White.
Yeah, or Elanga, get him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that worked out well last time, didn't it?
Okay.
Well, tell us what you think about it then, Marcus.
That's a good
Don't
idea.
just sit there in judgment of everyone around the start of 2024. Tell us what you think.
not-
Who would you want
I'm not
from
ju-
Chelsea?
I would have.
They wouldn't notice. Take whoever you want.
Yeah, I was going to say. Thiago Silva. We need another.
5-year contract.
Yeah,
Bang.
there you go.
Yeah.
You got to take Raheem Sterling, wouldn't you? That'd be one in the
Cole
eye.
Palmer, surely he's having a wonderful season.
He's having a wonderful season, but he's not played that much for England yet, Jim.
Yeah.
Oh right, of course.
Don't accidentally put Carlton Palmer.
Yeah,
Because he's older.
he's much
He's
older.
not going to do much for you.
It'd be nice to see him though.
No. It's an interesting suggestion that
Yeah.
would fall foul of many employment laws, which makes it a good idea in my view.
All right, so let's move on to something bigger and beefier then. A Champions League football. Now, in the 2024-25 season, we'll see the introduction of the new 36-team league format for the Champions League, with the top 8 teams after 6 games progress to the knockouts, and then 9th to 24th play a playoff to get in there as well. Now, Nick Gillan has had his say on this.
Big Nick, he's been a listener for a very, very long
He has.
time. Nick.
Nicky G said,
Yeah.
fuck the new Champions League format in the bin and stick with the current group format, but remove the seeding and make the groups an open draw. Would never happen, but would be amazing.
That would be great. The reason it would never happen, just for those of you who haven't thought about it that much, is because the powers that be wouldn't want to risk big teams going out early,
Yeah.
which is a shame. I agree with Nick. I think there's been talk of this, hasn't there, with the FA Cup, where you say that if you're the lower ranked team, you're always at home. The way they do in the Coupe de France, I think,
That's
as
right.
well.
And and in Spain as well.
This would throw the thing I don't like about the whole.
FA Cup was first, though, wasn't it, Luke?
It was.
Right.
It's
So
the
why
oldest
should it
one. It's
change?
the oldest one. Should
Yeah.
never change.
Right.
Nothing good can come of anything or anyone ever changing.
Correct.
And if you take one thing away from this start to 2024, take that with you throughout the year.
well, other than the resolutions we're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And
I
the
would,
date.
I would say that it's quite short-sighted of UEFA to think like that, because obviously they want to protect their own. They're kind of really tasked with keeping the big clubs happy, I suppose. It's a difficult position they're in. But actually, the amount of stories, the amount of narrative, the amount of PR value and marketing value and all the rest of it of removing the seeding and having these massive stories would be amazing. I mean, it would be really interesting. If you got a group that was like Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Man City, and whatever, another team. I
Think
can't
of the other groups, though.
Yeah,
See, everyone focuses on, wouldn't that be brilliant?
Yeah, but the smaller groups would be initially, it wouldn't be as much interest, of course, but those teams are automatically going to get further in the competition, which makes it more interesting.
And you look at the situation in the FA Cup, the aforementioned FA Cup, where occasionally you get Portsmouth win it, Wigan win it. You know, like it's...
Name another small side in the last 25 years.
Well, it doesn't... Spurs. It's
that's
not even the last
true.
25 years, is it?
Are you going to carry on the whole year like this?
No, I'm just saying.
No,
but
if
it's often, I think, when you remove the
Do you
seeds...
think you're Greg Davis in Taskmaster?
No, I think I'm Greg Proops.
Not again. It's never Greg.
I'm just saying, Jim, that I think when people they romanticise about removing the seedings, I'm not sure it's a good idea.
Yeah, but I know that doesn't happen very often, right? But the thing is, it does happen sometimes, you know, and it's rarer. But this would allow that at least to be a possibility far more often than it is now. You getting a smaller side win in the Champions League would be great, right?
It would. I don't think removing the seeding would ensure.
Well, so the argument,
surely it eases the possibility of it.
Well, the argument Marcus isn't making is that the teams would get a little bit further, but then no further than that, because ultimately at some point they're going to come up against a good team.
Well, that's I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, as old Nicky G says, you know, it would never happen. I mean, the smaller teams that you're suggesting, though, would probably be the massive team in the smaller countries.
Oh, of course, but that's what the Champions League is.
Yeah, it has
isn't
to be that anyway.
And they would, well, okay, maybe that's not great. I mean,
Did you think I thought Wigan were going to win the Champions League?
I thought you thought West Ham were going to win the Champions League.
They might do. You still holding that?
exactly.
I mean, look, they're in the
won the
Europa
World
League.
Cup.
They're in the Europa League this season. It is possible that they could win the Champions League next season.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah,
And we accept that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
What's your one, Marcus?
No, we're going to talk about goalkeepers first.
Oh, fine. Sorry, mate.
I thought humbly that we would finish the show on my
I
one.
thought that might be the case. I thought that might be what this attitude has been building up to. The
Well,
whole
I talked.
No one can have a right of reply.
Yeah.
Say your resolution, play the button, out we go.
Here's your New Year's resolution, and the subtitle is and why Marcus thinks it's shit.
Yeah, keeps going to the listener's suggestions. It's not going to happen though. Like he's ratifying this or not.
Yeah.
No, these ones I like. Jim, I liked your one.
Yeah.
Do you want? Are you on side or not? Is what I'm saying. Which would be fly in the face of what your idea was, of course.
Yeah.
But the goalkeepers. This from Corey. Goalkeepers can continue to use their hands. Good start in it.
Thanks, Corey. He's compromised on
But
this.
when handling zoo animals, but are no longer allowed to catch/possess the ball with their hands. Goal extravaganza! So a goalkeeper can flap and punch.
Slap.
Parry.
Yeah, but they can't catch
Uppercut.
the ball.
But they can pat in the air, can't they, to
Looks like it.
themselves?
There you go.
Okay,
There you go.
right.
So
Goalkeepers are a bit of a strange breed.
Yeah.
Fish.
Onana
They'll
does that
find a way
already,
around it.
actually. It's what I think about it.
Like a dog bouncing a balloon on its nose. They sort of have to do that.
Does someone
Yeah.
want to tell Onana that you can at the moment still possess the ball? Yeah. I mean, it's.
in the League Cup.
Fuck it. League Cup's a dumping ground for all this. League Cup, I don't know where they are. Right, so guys, we're playing the League Cup this week, so sit down. I've got a 4-hour presentation. Right, the goalkeeper can't catch it. There's no offside.
Man City used to be
Stop
interested in winning this.
Yeah.
Have you got a number 10? No, well, you need to look into that.
Also, on the parameters we've set for this podcast, it's this season's Carabao Cup, which has already started.
Yeah.
So
Got FIFA like or UEFA like. Just fine.
Do you remember there was a big thing that Sky Sports News did one year where they talked about New Year's resolutions for football? May or may not have been where we got the idea for this show. And everyone did like quite a thoughtful thing, and it was with the current Premier League managers, and I think they did it off the back of the press conference. And then David O'Leary, who was managing at the time, came out with something absolutely baffling. It was something like goalkeepers shouldn't be allowed to leave their area.
That's right. Yeah.
I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I
Yeah.
think it'd be really good. It's like you're the manager of a Premier League club.
He's played
and
a
you're
lot of
thinking about this
five-a-side.
stuff.
He's played a lot of five-a-side.
yeah.
It just seems like a strange.
Can you imagine like a ball over the top and the keeper just has to, and it stops just before, and the keeper's got to wait.
Yeah,
It's just madness.
or it's a pen.
Pen.
Yeah. This is the thing, isn't it? Football is about that freedom. We talk about the flow of the game, so that's why I think restrictions like that will never quite.
Well, Jim, we're going to stay with goalkeepers for one last spin of the dice, because this is from Ben.
Spin a
Spin
dice.
of the dice.
Yeah. Let goalkeepers handle the ball in both boxes. I really like this idea. In the opposition box, it would be a volleyball-style spike only, no catches, but encourages high-risk, high-reward strategies like keepers coming up for corners more regularly. I honestly think this is a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I'd love
Because you
get
immediately...
it in the Carabao.
Well, yeah, I'd absolutely get it in the FA Cup, Jim. Immediately you think, well, obviously the goalkeeper's going to come up all the time. Oh, yeah. then the back door is unlocked.
But he can't catch it. What happens if the goalkeeper catches it in the opposition box?
Penalty.
Penalties all round. No,
I
he's-
really
The
like
game
this.
presumably stops.
I honestly, all joking. No, joking still involved. I think this is genuinely like an intriguing idea because, like, a goalkeeper like punching the ball, but as you say, it really does. It's such a high risk thing.
Yeah. Well, then
So with 15 minutes to go and you're 1-0 down, do you go, oh, you know?
and presumably you.
Bring the
Well,
keeper up.
the temptation would be that you leave an attacking player towards the halfway line, right? So if the goalkeeper is caught out, then you just get it over to him and off you go.
Because you've
But
abandoned
then-
offsides at this
Yeah.
point, by the
Well,
way.
yeah. So yeah, it can be wherever he wants.
Yeah.
But you've got 2 spare men, right? If the goalkeeper's there as well, and you leave and you go up there. So tactically, that would be quite interesting.
I like that Marcus thinks this is fine.
Well, what's wrong with it?
It's just mental, isn't
Well,
it?
go on then.
It's absolutely mental.
Well, explain to me why.
Because
it's
it's not the
mental.
goalkeeper's role, is it?
Yeah, but I'm saying you can introduce it.
Yeah, you can introduce anything.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
It does seem to go against the spirit of the name of the sport.
Yeah.
All right.
In NFL, which they call football, the ball is only kicked, I think, 7% of the time.
Yeah.
So you don't want to get anywhere near that, otherwise it's a mockery, isn't it?
Trades description at
I
Campbell
know,
over it.
I know.
When I was a kid, I used to think that this was a thing. I was like, oh, the goalkeeper could only handle it in the box. And I was like,
Yeah.
God, why aren't more people
Yeah.
doing it? Why didn't you go in the other box?
Exactly.
It's like, you've got your British passport.
Yeah.
You don't need a visa to certain places. Just keep going there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's a good place to nearly finish the show because now
Yeah.
it's over to
So
me.
we're
Do you need
Up
us
for
here for
this.
this? Or...
Yeah.
I want to talk about managers' fashion because I'm getting a little bit annoyed. This is really, I just want Pep to spruce it up a bit.
Yeah.
You see sometimes what he's wearing, and it's like that's not even your best jumper. It's not even in your top 6. You wouldn't go down the pub looking like that.
So here's what's happened.
You wouldn't go down to the shops.
It used to be managers used to wear training kit
Yep.
or a suit.
Tracksuit or suit.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
And,
Liverpool.
and again, to go back to NFL again,
Yep.
it annoys me that even in the Super Bowl, the head coaches will only wear tracksuits.
Yeah.
So they don't even deviate from that.
Yeah.
What's happened recently is you start, and it's not just Pep.
No.
It's your Julian Nagelsmans.
Ah,
It's your people like that who bring
Yeah.
in the trainers and the jeans and all the rest of
all
it.
that bollocks.
I think you're right. I think that's not the dress code for a manager.
Right, so you've got the tracksuit, the club. Cover yourself in the club crest like Tuchel does.
Yeah.
Lampard likes a bit of that when
Klopp.
he's knocking around. Klopp,
Yeah.
exactly. Even Neil Warnock,
Frank Lampard, but he'd love to be in an official club tracksuit at the moment, wouldn't
absolutely. Pulis with his old Stoke City cap on,
Yeah.
and all that
he?
sort
She
of.
takes off to headbutt people.
Wait, he didn't wear it in the shower.
Wait, he wasn't wearing anything else, was he? He's like a cartoon character.
Why
He's got a
have you-
hat on. He's not
Why have you
naked.
got your cap on in the shower? Well, it's not like I've got any hair to wash.
So Pep Guardiola sometimes wears that big grey roll neck.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jim.
Can I present you something?
It's poor. It's what's that?
It's a
What-
picture of Julia Roberts in a very similar garment.
Yeah, they look
and
the
we all
same.
know that he's a big fan.
Would
of
you be
Julia
happy with
Roberts.
Pep wearing that?
No, I wouldn't. Not on the
What?
touchline.
Why not?
In the
She's
club.
even doing the Bielsa pose there. She's squatting.
Save it. Oh, she's really trying to reach out. She's taking a piss.
Yeah,
She's
she
a
is.
Man United fan.
Yeah, she is.
Save it for the club.
What would
okay?
you? So what do you? So you're saying tracksuit or suit? That's it.
Right. For the most part, yes. However, you get one mufti day where you can wear what you want.
Is that the
Yeah.
Carabao Cup?
Yeah. At the moment, at
The
this point in the
Mufti
show, at this point in the show, the Carabao Cup's just a fucking disco.
Yeah.
It's just a disco with a buffet, and there's someone's got a football bouncing around somewhere.
And there's a can of Carabao.
Who's won
But
it this
the
year?
football
No one
square
knows.
now.
Yeah, just Jules presenting it
Oh, dear.
in the background.
So you've got one mufti day a year.
Yeah,
So you can wear what you want. It'd be interesting. But you cannot wear a suit or the tracksuit. Wouldn't it be interesting to see like what Roy Hodgson would wear?
what do you reckon he would wear?
I don't know, but you've tweed. No, I don't know.
He'd be dressed like George Smiley in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. wouldn't
Great. So it'd be interesting to see what some managers actually wear.
he? Hmm.
I think that would be, and also one fancy dress day of the season, and you have
And
to
they're
come in fancy
compulsory.
dress,
Right.
Right? And wouldn't it be hilarious? I don't know, like Liverpool v Man United at Anfield, right? A big highly charged game like that. Klopp dressed as I don't know Santa, and Ten Hag, dressed
Or
as
when Steve
Batman,
Cooper-
and they have to shake hands at the end of the game, or they're pissed off with each other.
When Steve Cooper gets up after a defeat at home and he knows he's going to be sacked,
Yeah.
he's wearing the David Brent thing with the bird's legs
Yeah,
and the little
exactly.
thing on the top.
You're sacked.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
this is-
How's this for an idea
Go
on that note as
yeah,
well?
build it, Jim. Build
But
it.
one day a year comes out of a hat. Today, here's Sean Dyche but dressed by Jürgen Klopp.
Oh, you get to dress
Yeah.
each other.
Like
Okay,
that.
and that's the third round. So
Sean Dyche is a big inflatable cock and ball. Like he's on a stag weekend. That'd be good.
it would be very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eddie Howe's the fake shake.
Yeah. And Dyche is pissed off. And Klopp's going, "Will I do it in the Carabao? What's different?"
But can you imagine though, if he was wearing a big sort of knob and balls and he's shouting instructions? Like again, think about what they do, the managers, getting annoyed, shouting at the referee, but that's how they're dressed.
Gary O'Neill getting Arteta in this tombola type thing and getting him to dress in a Just Stop Oil t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
That would be good.
in the Carabao Cup,
Yeah.
the managers are all like the Masked Singer.
Yeah.
So you don't even know which one's which.
Yeah.
Well, you would because of the team.
No, you
playing.
don't.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
don't, it's
sorry.
not announced.
Okay, I
It's
think.
not announced.
Yeah.
I've long argued that players should wear tuxedos in cup finals. I think we can probably throw that into the Carabao as well at this point.
Like snooker players. Should be like snooker
Yeah,
players,
exactly.
basically. Yeah.
All right, there we are.
That'd be nice. You can wear boots, but that's
It's a
it.
big occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Because you said snooker, I was thinking of the referee in a suit.
No, it's just the players in like a little bow tie with the thing on, the
Like
little
that.
penguin suit.
Oh, you see. Best
Yeah.
till, save the best till last there,
Yeah.
everybody.
When's that? What, we're doing that now, are we?
Thank you
We've
very
got
much.
some more listener suggestions, have we?
Thank you very much for listening to the Football Ramble, part of the Acast Creator Network. Do join us tomorrow for the Ramble, looking back at all the weekend fixtures. Follow us on Twitter, currently known as X, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Football Ramble. And don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app. We did it, everybody. We've done it together. God bless you all. Happy New Year. And thank you, Luke Moore.
Elon Musk to buy the Premier League.
No, we're done. We're finished.
Oh, fuck it. Should have got it in time.
Let him, the Carabao Cup. Let him buy that. Vathushan Hantaraja, thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, James Campbell.
Thank you, Marcus Christopher Speller. And
Yeah.
Happy New Year, listeners.
Yes, your middle name's
And to all
Edward.
three of you. It is.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Just he said mine. I'm saying his. Mutual appreciation.
Yeah.
Luke Aaron Moore. Do
Yeah, thanks.
you have a middle name, Vish?
We're doing this now, we?
No, I don't.
Just say Happy New Year to the listeners and go.
I thought we had gone.
Look, at the end of a
It's
terrible
the
house.
first day of the year. How many more shows have you got?
Yeah,
Let
loads.
them go.
loads.
At the end of the party you got
Yeah.
invited to last night, just say Happy New Year and go.
Oh, don't have a go at me. Right, everybody. Sorry about the puffins. Lots of love, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers for watching another fantastic clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, which means you will not miss a single upload.